Testing, 1, 2, 3. Are we working? Can everybody hear me? Hello, everybody. Welcome. How's everyone doing today? It's me again. The second time. Hello. Testing. Let me know if you guys can hear me or not hear me, so I can adjust the audio. Oh, Athens! Hey, Athens. Hi, Brandon. Hi, Smitty. Hi, Lady Lumo. I think so Shesh was there too. Hi, Squaxo. And, yeah, Ben. Come on in, everybody. Come on in. Let's go. Alright, so, apparently the audio is good. And, oh, I'm at the wrong fucking tab. So, I don't know why I take up complex topics and I talk about them, but I decided to talk about something I saw on Twitter, and I was like, why? And the thing that mainstream media, and especially some journalists, have not learned. They have not learned, they refuse to learn, and, Shesh passed out. Puck is operating her with marionette strings. So, before we begin, this will be short. It won't be too long. I'll try and make sure of that. Like when Henry VIII said to his wives, "I shall not keep you long." I'll try that. If anyone remembers where I got that phrase from, shout out in the live chat. Oh, there's Shesh. She's there. My girl is there. She's listening to me. So, what we're going to talk about today, we're going to talk about how some journalists, especially journalists from the mainstream media, have not learned anything. They refuse to learn anything, and how they come up with these tactics to deflect from their own poor judgment, if I might say, or their poor behavior, or their lack of integrity and research ethics. So, we're going to start with Kat Tenberg today on Twitter. We're going to jump right into it. So we're going to start with, so we know that Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial has been going on, right? And we know there are two sides on this. People who favor Depp, people who favor Amber Heard. But it has come out now that even though in the trial it came out quite clearly and evidently that Johnny Depp was the victim, and turns out Amber Heard has lied maliciously and defamed Johnny Depp, there are some people still left, and not some people actually, the mainstream media is still trying to push it towards as if Johnny Depp is an abuser and has and heavily being biased towards Amber Heard as if she is still a victim, when it has been proven that she's not. She doesn't have any medical records. For me, it's the medical records. If she has no medical records of, I don't know what, I cannot believe just hearsay. Not now anymore, I'm afraid. So, what the mainstream media is doing and what some journalists are doing, and then there are some people who are associated with this movement, they have not learned. They are not revising their stand or their take on this. You would expect that people from journalism and media would do that, like when you get new evidence or if you get a new judgment in the light, you would revise your stand or your position. But for some reason, mainstream media, especially NBC News, are refusing to revise their status or their position, and are heavily pushing towards Amber, supporting Amber and bolstering her narrative. For some reason, they're doing that. Or it's possible, hey, Honest Red came into live chat, or it's possible that Johnny Depp doesn't want to deal with the mainstream media anymore, maybe because of the fact that how he has been treated for the last 6 years. So, coming back, this is Kat Tenberg, I don't know, maybe that's how you pronounce her name. Excuse me, apologies in advance if I pronounce it wrong. So they claim they're tech and culture reporter at NBC News. Surprise, surprise. From NBC News. I'm seriously now, with all what I've seen in the past, I'll justify why I'm never going to trust NBC News again. Never again. They don't know what they're talking about, especially when they're talking about issues like domestic violence or harassment, online harassment, bullying, etc. It's quite evident. So this is Kat Tenberg. They claim to be a tech and culture reporter at NBC News. They have an Instagram. They've got quite a good following on Twitter. And they made a tweet that really, really pinched me wrong, let's just say. And I'm miffed, and I want to rant about it. So, we'll go back. So this is the tweet that she put out. It was put out my time or my date on July 28th, 2022. I think so. What's the date today? 23rd, if I'm not wrong. Yes, so probably around my Wednesday and your guys' Tuesday, if I'm not wrong. And this is what she says. Social media movement around Depp Heard was for many a continuation of GamerGate. Okay. That's why it's important that we continue to explore what happened, because it didn't end with the trial. And then she continues. Let me go next. Depp Heard was, I would argue, even worse than GamerGate, because the people who accepted the conspiracy at the heart of Depp's defense, the conspiracy at the heart of the Depp's defense were oftentimes the demographic that would have opposed GamerGate. It included a demographic of women, domestic survivors, and liberals, which I will actually show it's wrong. It's been proven wrong. That people who opposed the GamerGate were liberals. They were actually the ones contributing and questioning the GamerGate. I'll show you how. And then she continues. Most people don't know what GamerGate is outside very online circles, but everyone knew about the trial and saw the anti-Amber Heard propaganda. It also caused a huge population to lose faith in the mainstream media because they didn't understand why mainstream media questioned the conspiracy. Here we go again with the word conspiracy. This was the people's QAnon. And it's still going on, just like QAnon kept going after Trump lost. Now we have even bigger media-hating, conspiracy-primed population. It's not gonna end well. And then next. Also, in regards to the screenshot in my initial tweet, I need to make this clear. What that person is accusing Zoe of doing is false. It's offensive, inflammatory, and wrong. My intention in screenshotting and reposting is to show that people from the GamerGate are pro-Depp. And I replied underneath her and I said, like, can you do your research, please? Before stoking false fires. And I believe that's what she's doing there. And I'm absolutely miffed at this person right now. NBC News, come and get your girl. What is wrong with you guys? And that's why I'm going to talk about... We'll start from GamerGate. We will breeze a little bit through Theranos and Elizabeth Holmes controversy and finally land on the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp trial. This is what my issue is with the mainstream media. Time and time again, they refuse to learn. Now, what's the screenshot? So someone said to Kettenberg, you journalists learned nothing with the Zoe Quinn and fake domestic violence with journalists' complicity. And that one has blood on her hands. Again, we don't know, it might be metaphorical that what they're saying is that one has blood on her hands. I will explain to you. Let's start with what GamerGate was. GamerGate was, there was a spat between a couple that was used to project on the whole GamerGate community. There was a couple spat which leaked into mainstream media where journalists decided to call it a misogynist and sexism movement of sorts, or they said that the whole gamer community is consistent of similar people, or are these majority of these people who are misogynists and are full of sexism. But when we stepped back and we actually observed what was going on, there was this blur of lines between professionalism and private life in the gaming journalist community. That's what the issue was. And and I think personally, to deflect away from those blurred boundaries, this whole mammoth behemoth of, misogyny and sexism in games was created. I'm not saying there's no misogyny and sexism. There might be. I've not gone into that. But it was a massive deflect from that main picture that journalism, especially, journalism involved in tech and culture, they blur these lines between professionalism and private lives. And that's what resulted in GamerGate. And that fed into what we came up with, what Anita Sarkeesian did. Personally, I think Anita Sarkeesian conducted a scam. Allegedly. In my personal opinion, I don't have any proof for it. I'm just saying. Because what she went out and said was, I will show you that there is sexism and misogyny in games. So I need some money to make that videos. Which is fair. You're spending time recording, scripting, and doing research. So you're spending time, so it should be compensated. I agree with that. But the product that came out of that, she held a fundraiser for around $5,000 to $6,000 and she got $160,000. But the final product that came out was decimated within weeks of it coming out by various YouTubers. I don't know, Smitty, if she took millions of dollars. Are you talking about Elizabeth Holmes? Yeah, Elizabeth Holmes took millions of dollars. And that's what my issue is. These journalists who talk about, I'm a tech and culture journalist, or I'm that kind of journalist, this kind of journalist. When it comes to the integrity and research competency, it's absolutely nothing. Nothing. And to deflect from that, they create these monsters when they're not present and when they're not needed. That's what happened with GamerGate. That's what I found some really good videos which explained what really GamerGate was. Some really good videos that kind of picked apart Anita Sarkeesian's videos that she put out about sexism and misogyny in games. I'm not saying that there's no sexism and misogyny or in games. There might be, but the games she was talking about or she picked apart were not the games that were good examples. They were the worst examples. They shouldn't be used as examples to justify what she was claiming. And it was picked apart. And what happened was, instead of taking in the criticism, she deflected onto maybe the trolls who were harassing her online, who were making maybe threats. And I think so she was doxxed also, if I'm not wrong. I don't know whether she was doxxed or not. I'm not saying that if I don't see a proof of it didn't happen. I don't know if she was doxxed. If someone can show me, I would be happy to say, okay, she was doxxed. But the thing was that they did not take both at the start of the GamerGate, where a personal spat between two exes was projected onto the gaming community as a sort of a norm in order to deflect from what actually happened, where someone went public talking about someone else and the journals just lapped it up. It was gossip that was spread and projected onto a community. Let's just summarize it that. So the journalists there did not learn anything moving forward also, and to deflect away from their own incompetence, they deflected it onto, but the trolls and the harassers though. That's what I think. I don't know. You can correct me in the live chat if I'm right. So, Aiden, was that fair? Okay. What I will do is I'll tell you what I found out about GamerGate. So, abstract. The GamerGate is a viral campaign. This is a paper I found about GamerGate, the GamerGate controversy and the journalistic paradigm maintenance at ResearchGate. It's written by, I think so, there are two authors here, Gregory Perrault and Tim Voss, if I'm not wrong. So, it says, GamerGate is a viral campaign that became an occasion, particularly from August 2014 to 2015, to both question journalistic ethics and badger women involved in game development and gaming criticism. Gaming journalists thus found themselves managing a debate on two fronts: defending the probability of gaming journalism and remediating attacks on women. This study explores how gaming journalists undertook paradigm maintenance in midst of the controversy. This was analyzed through interviews with gaming journalists as well as blah 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 blah. So there's one take on this one, and then there's another take, which is GamerGate, a descriptive study of individuals involved in the GamerGate controversy. This is from Christopher J. Ferguson and Brad Glasgow from Stetson University and Central Lake, Michigan. So what they write in the introduction is, the GamerGate controversy emerged in 2014, ostensibly regarding concerns over journalistic integrity in the video games. However, it quickly morphed into discussions of sexism in gaming, following several high-profile reports of harassment against women journalists and game designers. This has resulted in GamerGate being directly tied to sexism in games. Thus, it is common to hear that individuals involved in GamerGate are largely conservative white men, motivated primarily by sexism and misogyny. However, few empirical studies have examined the composition of individuals who identify with the GamerGate. The current analysis examined the demographic characteristics and social constellation. And social attitudes of 725 individuals who identified as members of GamerGate. Although individuals fitting the constellation of Caucasian male heterosexual and non-Hispanic were more common than those in other categories, only 303 of the sample identified as all of these categories suggested many members of GamerGate do not fit the stereotype of a heterosexual white man. Further analysis of study participant attitudes suggest that they tend to hold more liberal attitudes than the general population. It is concluded that although it remains valuable to highlight specific incidents of harassment of women in gaming, caution is advised in using GamerGate to identify as synonymous with such behavior. I'll put all these links in the live chat for you guys later. So the mainstream media and the journalists did not learn from here at all, and that's why I have issues with these journalists who come online and they're like, yeah, I am a reporter in tech and culture, but I don't know what her credentials are. I don't know, but her work, I'm not impressed with this thread. Let's just say this false, and I'll talk about this when I finally reach to the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp trial, why this really made me mad. This belligerent, if I'm sorry, misrepresentation of what social media movements are, deflection from their own incompetence to do research, to revise their positions, and what else can I say? So the 8 and 619, most of these reporters are reporters like Katie Joy Paulson. I'm not surprised that they are. Smitty from the live chat, I remember Manya quickly expressing this take on one of Shesh's streams when we saw the Wikipedia article for Gamergate. Wikipedia called it a sexist harassment campaign, lol. Yeah, I was like, I'm going to double check it and I'm going to find out what it is actually about. And this is what it is actually about. Manya is an internet lore master. Ah, I might actually change my name on Twitter. That's a good title. Ouch. Bento with chat. You. Where's Shesh? Shesh, where you at, girl? Okay, she must have gone to sleep. So, coming on to the next person I'm going to talk about, Elizabeth Holmes. She dropped out of Stanford. We know someone else who's from Stanford, which Shash and I have criticized on our Dumb Fact Fridays. Shash, yes, please let me know if you're right here. Okay, cool. Just check in. Just check in on my girl. Weenie. Whew. Oh, my neighbor's dog stopped barking right on time. That's impressive. That guy was barking the whole day. It was making me go nuts. Well, I pointed, but you couldn't see. In your heart. Oh my gosh. Okay, so next, Elizabeth Holmes. Who she is? She's a dropout from Stanford. She was, I think, so pursuing something in chemical engineering, if I'm not wrong. Then she went ahead at the age of 19, if I'm not wrong, started the company Theranos, and claimed that she had found a solution to downsize the blood testing that's usually conducted in the field of pathology. She said that instead of tubes and tubes of blood that's needed for blood testing for different diseases, conditions and stuff, she has built a machine that would require only a few drops of blood and will give you a comprehensive report about your health and stuff. And she reached to the heights of value of hundreds of millions of dollars along with a company, and she had very prominent members on her board, including, I think, former U.S. Secretary of State Henry Kissinger, whose grandson worked at Theranos at one point and was one of the whistleblowers. Let me see if I can search for whistleblowers. And this is where I'll talk about, this is kind of a good example of journalist integrity, of journalism redacting and clarifying and re-examining and changing their position based on new evidence. But it also tells me how far a scam can go. How far, if you sell a dream right, how far it can go. Yeah, see, it knows what I want. So, I think so it's Miss Chung and Schultz, both of them. Mania Cat was in that shit NBC documentary I looked on Wednesday. Really? I think so there was another one of I think so the Jessie Taylor one, the Dr. Jessie Taylor. You know, this Dr. Jessica Taylor. She was also in that documentary. The woman who made the comment in the end, oh, this is going to be bad for domestic survivors. Resistance. Hey, Rez, welcome. You mean that unintentional mockumentary? Remind me to get with Mania to fix her OBS camera output. Is it that bad? I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I'm basic. Alright. Moving on. Give me a second. Let me just check some shit. What was I gonna check? Blah, 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 blah. Hold on. Let's check. Okay, no worries. Alright. Here we go. Next. Elizabeth Holmes and the Saga of Theranos. I might put in chapters maybe next. So what happened here? So Elizabeth dropped out of Stanford, claimed that she had found she claimed she had built a machine that could conduct blood tests with just a few drops of blood. And she, I think so, Sunny Bajwani, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but he was also one of his associates, who is kind of part of the lawsuit that they're facing or the investigation that they're facing. So this lie, how long it went on for a couple of years, if I'm not wrong, and then it took a pathologist sitting somewhere in some part of US questioning the whole thing, because they had experience and they had knowledge in that field, and they approached a journalist But before that, we come back a little bit. Why was that lie? Why did that lie went on for so long that a company was founded which was valued at hundreds and millions of dollars, and valued its head, Elizabeth Holmes, in billions, if I'm not wrong? How did that happen? Why did that happen? She sat down with Bill Clinton. Joe Biden came to her supposed lab and inspected it and said it's the lab of the future, and no one could detect or choose to look into like how legit the thing was, and also how litigation was used to silence people who were questioning it, who was questioning the narrative or the dream, if I might say. Chung and Schultz, both of them who were the whistleblowers from inside the Theranos, they both faced a lot of scrutiny, a lot of litigation. Schultz, I think so, spent around, $350,000 in litigation against Theranos, if I'm not wrong. And it was this persistent journalism done by this one person. Go away. No, go away. God damn it. So Erica Chung and Tyler Schultz, these were the ones who were inside the company who raised the voice. And then, where's my Wall Street Journal? And then it was John Carreyrou who no, I'm not going to sign in. God damn it, go away. Who pursued this to the end, almost facing litigation when Elizabeth Holmes tried to kill the story by holding a meeting between her lawyers and Wall Street Journal's lawyers. This is great journalism, where someone discovered that there's something going on. They investigated, and then they revised their position. And then the whole of and when I think so, when Erica Chung complained to CDS, if I'm not wrong, CDS, I don't know. She complained to the authorities, the regulators, and they came down hard on Theranos, and they shut them down for 2 years, if I'm not wrong. Then the whole journalistic community kind of revised their position on it. They're like, oh, okay, it was a scam. But they let it go for 2 years with hundreds and millions of dollars being invested in it. Why did it take so long for people to catch up? I just don't get it. Seriously. But so the thing with Elizabeth Holmes is kind of a classic example of good journalism also, but also like you see those lines getting blurred when, Elizabeth Holmes was everywhere being bolstered, in talks, in TED Talks and all that shit. And no one questioned her narrative. No one. Except one person sitting somewhere was like, bullshit. And then slowly it came out that her peers at Stanford were also very skeptical about her. I think so, one of the professors, Phyllis Gardner, was like, you don't know what you're talking about. You aspire to be something, you're copying someone, but you don't know how much damage you might cause to women who want to be entrepreneurs out there. And it has happened. She did damage. That was the real damage. Oh, did it start? It didn't notify you now? After 20 minutes? Seriously? It's not that bad, but I can use the screenshot of you from this for reaction pics. Oh, okay. Cool. Athens, there's an act protecting whistleblowers, and you get paid a 10 to 30% what the government receives. Interesting. Hi, Rez. So that's where my issues are with the journalists and the journalism and the journalists, the mainstream media so far. As we are coming ahead I don't know, maybe it's the cause or it's the dream that was sold by Amber Heard, that these people refuse to back down and revise their position. As if, again, they're taking it personally and they want to deflect away from their own competence. NBC, seriously, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? What's going on with you? Do you have some backdoor deal with Amber Heard? Do you? You're journalists, or is it that the culture in your organization has come to this due to these journalists like Kat Tinberg, that they have created this culture where you cannot tell them this is bullshit, back off? Seriously. Why? Why are you letting these journalists take over the narrative like that? So now, we come to Amber Heard, right? Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial. Amber Heard wrote an op-ed, and after that she was giving speeches everywhere on domestic violence. She was put on pedestal. There were a lot of journalists who were supporting her, a lot of academics who were supporting her, like Michelle Dauber. I don't know what the fuck she's still doing at Stanford. Journalists like this Kat Tinberg, and then we have people from other countries like Dr. Proudman, who claims to be a barrister, and all of the people out there. And for some reasons, these people cannot see the light that they were wrong. And they're continuing to push this thing. And this is why this tweet, really miffed me, that they're trying to create another deflection from their own incompetence to check and investigate and revise their positions. No one would have told you, oh, you're wrong, or no one would have come down on you. No one would have come down hard on you if you had said, oh, looks like Amber Heard does not have enough proof for her position. We need to revise her position. At least to say that it looks like that there was no abuse. It was a mutual relationship or a neutral relationship. Forget whether Amber Heard abused Johnny Depp or not. This blatant deflection from incompetence from the journalists in America. Let me be specific. Because there are other countries who have done fantastic coverage on this, on the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial. Go and check out Sky News Australia and their take on the trial. They have been brutal to Amber Heard, and they said everything they said was as it is. Let me tell you, I even read a few articles from Fox News that were more, you could say, objective about this whole trial. But for some reason, NBC News is hell-bent upon deflecting from the incompetence. Why the interview with Amber Heard, I still don't get it. You didn't get the views. You didn't get the TRP. What's going on? Who's pushing this? And this is where, again, this blurred line of professionalism and personal life. A lot of these reporters have taken it so personally that they have moved out from their professional lives into personal life onto Twitter, on social media, to keep on talking about the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial, using their position as journalists to project their personal feelings on a trial and on the decision of a trial. Didn't ask the questions, cut the fuck out of it. Exactly. Didn't ask... You asked the most obvious questions to which we knew the answers already, NBC. We already knew the answers. And this is what my issue is, again and again, time and again. The incompetence of the journalists, and why they have taken it for some reason personally upon themselves to be biased towards Amber Heard. Just the same way they were biased towards the lady whose personal spat came out in the GamerGate, and Anita Sarkeesian. I think so. It was Zoe, some name that's what her name was, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. And then deflected it to, oh yeah, it's about misogyny and sexism, when it's not, when the main issue is about the journalist integrity and competence. Resistance from the live chat. I mean, Fox News has been largely misogynist in the past, though, so the fact that they get less stuff wrong than it comes to Amber Heard doesn't surprise me. Yeah, you can say that a broken clock can be correct twice a day. You could say that. So, Squaxo on a phone from the live chat. Shesh, but no, you see, it was YouTubers who did the editing. Exactly. I think so. I don't know why NBC News. I don't know why NBC News is that desperate. But I have also seen other mainstream media and other newspapers who are now desperately scrambling to deflect from their own incompetence. And I'm just done with it. I'm so done with it. And this is a perfect example of that. Perfect example. NBC News, come and get your girl. Seriously. So if you see, there's a pattern that's happening here with journalism. A dream is sold to them, or an issue is made, a big issue is made out of something which does not need to be a big issue, and then it's sold to the masses to deflect from their own incompetence. That happened in GamerGate. That's happened in the Elizabeth Theranos trial also. The fucking lie with Elizabeth went on for a couple of years, and she was everywhere and all, like being awarded by all the dignitaries and news channels and newspapers and everything. And now it's Amber Heard with ACLU. Why? What's going on? What's wrong with people? I get it. You need warriors to champion your beliefs. I get it. But you gotta vet your warriors too. You gotta vet your champions also, whether they are suitable for what you want them to champion. Amber Heard is not a good champion for domestic abuse survivors. Trigger alert, sorry. Warning. She's not a good representation for domestic abuse survivors or domestic violence. She's not. It's quite evident she's lied. And she's defamed someone for 6 years. And people who are saying that, I will just make a side note that people saying that, oh, she took only 7 million, she was entitled to more. If she wanted money, she would have gotten all of it. You dipshits. If you had listened to Johnny Depp's accountant's or, Money Man's testimony in the trial, he said that all her debts amounted up to something like $14 million that were paid off by Johnny Depp. And on top of that, she got $7 million. Athens619 from the live chat. I find it funny how there are people looking for misogyny from men or women and will find what they need to find and leave out other stuff. You're not a journalist when you have a biased view. Exactly. Smitty, she's a good representation for domestic abuse perpetrators. Yeah, you could say that. It's becoming very frustrating, and these people are hell-bent on pushing this narrative. So this short video and this short study I just did was for anyone who wanted to just go and slap them in the face and say, get the fuck out of here, you're full of shit. I don't know, it was around $14 million that was in debt. Hell, what now? It was something around that. She was asking for something $14 million or something. That would have, with including the property and shit, if I'm not wrong, and then covering her debts. Yeah. If I go to Kat Tenberg's profile, the pinned tweet is Ezra Miller for some reason. Okay. So yeah, she talks about Amber. She's retweeting stuff about Amber Heard. Oh, she retweeted a thread. Let's discuss popular myths, lies, and conspiracy about Amber Heard that are repeated online, and an ongoing thread to provide context to misinformation. Like, this is what she's retweeting. You know, this whole thing. So, it's quite evident you're biased. These fucking... I don't get it. Like, how does NBC News not tell them? She's got a check mark after her name. So she's using her professional position to get that check mark and be on Twitter. How does NBC News not come in and say, what the fuck are you doing retweeting all this shit? Is she retweeting this as a journalist? This shit as journalist? Or as a fucking layperson responsible for her own actions? I just don't get it. And here is another one. XYZ person is the reason survivors aren't believed. It's flawed. Victim blaming logic. The reason survivors aren't believed is because people choose not to believe them. Everyone is responsible for their own choice to believe someone or not. Don't shift the blame. Who is actually shifting the blame here, madam? There are numerous psychological studies and exercise why we shift blame and then come up with justification for shifting blame. It's built onto your psychology, but we can recognize it, that and avoid it. Survivors will choose not to believe and will actively work against other survivors in the hope that they will be believed instead. That never works out in any survivor's favor, and it's sad to see. Be kind to one another. Again, pushing the narrative that Amber Heard is a survivor when there's no proof of it. There's no proof that Amber Heard suffered domestic abuse at the hands of Johnny Depp. None. And that's what she's doing to... Shesh is right from the live chat. So Kat is doing that to Johnny Depp. I'd argue that there are systematic flaws in societal trends that help reinforce people not believing survivors, but blaming one person for an overreaching issue in society is always dumb. And yes, this is true. The choice to believe, not believe, is definitely influenced by systematic flaws in societal trends. Says the one who brought up GamerGate to compare with the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial. Can you decide, Kat? Seriously? Seriously? Like, what's wrong with you? Seriously. God. She's retweeting. Even Rachel Wood's comments are ill-advised and disappointing, but it is not unusual for women to turn on women to be believed by men. And this is what Kat has retweeted. This is what she's retweeted. There's real fear for not being believed. This excellent piece by Badera and more. Whatever the fuck. Why are so many survivors supporting Johnny Depp? This will be an interesting one to watch. Or to read. Nicole Badera. Who the fuck is she? Let's have a look. Oh, look! Sociologist studying how our social structures make sexual violence more likely to occur. PhD from University of Michigan. This fucking culture of pouncing on men without considering evidence is going to blow up in the face of all these fucking women. Seriously. Seriously. It's pretty common for women to doubt other women. It's not just women. it's men also. For some reason, these people think that men can't be victims of domestic violence. I'm just done with these people now. God, maybe I'll read this one in the next one. But my final message to people like Kat is, your incompetence is glaringly showing, and blaming others will not give you your competence back. Or putting targets on other people's back, or highlighting an entirely different set of circumstances or part of culture is not going to get you your credibility back. You won't get it back this way. You'll have to, the way you will get your credibility back is that you'll have to acknowledge what actually happened and what was presented in front of court as evidence. Acknowledge that and revise your position accordingly. That's how you will get your credibility back. Yeah, I forgot the word, Shesh, thanks. Smitty, misandry is okay because misogyny is bad. That's what we are going towards, and it's a very, very worrying trend. It's worrying me. That's where it's leading to. And people like Kat, Dr. Proudman, Jesse Taylor, and Emil Dauber are spearheading this kind of campaigns against men. Credibility, integrity, artistry. Yep. Shasharvik Industries. So there's a pattern that's going on. Something small happens, lines between personal and professional lines are blurred, it's projected onto a greater community as a norm, and when the greater community comes back and says what the fuck, then you double down on it. So that was my rant for today. That's what I wanted to talk about. It's I really hope that we can look past these people who absolutely refuse to look at evidence as evidence and acknowledge it and revise their positions and actually come together and support people who need the support. And I'm glad that this trial was televised, because going by how the mainstream media was trying to portray it as, it would have been another PR disaster for Johnny Depp. I personally feel. And I think so going forward, such trials should be televised. Good on Judge Penny for taking the decision to televise it. And she did well. Her court was not mismanaged. Her court was the decorum was there in the court, and and then mainstream media didn't get to spin it. And I think so that's where the butthurt lies. Mainstream media is butthurt that YouTubers are being now considered more credible than these. They are also part of the YouTube ecosystem, if I might say, but they are trying to represent themselves as something separate from YouTube while blaming other fellow YouTubers for getting it right. You are responsible for what you did with the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial, and before that, you went there, you believed someone without any evidence, and you let that run rampant for, I think so, 3 years? And now you got a chance to revise your position and say, okay, we were wrong, in a very respectful manner, and you would have had a chance. You would still have had a part to play in the trial. You would still have gotten the trust of your viewers, but you chose to go the other direction and are still going the other direction. By now you should have realized that you're doing something wrong, that your viewers are not coming back to you and are not trusting you. But I guess that's what happens when people like Cat, what's the name, fucking Tenbarge, are part of your journalistic group and part of your staff. They create, maybe that's what they have done. They have created this culture of fear in the organization itself, that if you try and question their narrative, they will just jump on you and they will just like fucking like take you down. Okay, so I think so I'm done for today. I'll leave it here. I don't want to take it any further. That's all I'm gonna talk about. If you have anything that you want to say, you can say it in the live chat and I'll pick it up. Smitty from the live chat: people use legitimate issues to go on the attack against whole demographics because they think doing the same thing they hate is good. Because they think doing the same thing they hate is good. Okay. That went right over me. Sorry, Smitty. 8 and 619, blaming others because you didn't like the court's decision with the evidence provided. That is a you problem, and you should be a judge and see how it really is. Yeah, exactly. Alright then, I'm gonna head out now. Thanks for joining me for this short rant, and yeah, just keep a lookout on trends and shit. And if you want me to talk about anything, just let me know. So this is a good video by RSS Stitch, and it says GamerGate controversy explained, easy cartoon. It's actually a cartoon, and if you want to watch it, it's awesome, and it kind of tells you in a crux what GamerGate actually is. And then if you want to look into criticisms for what Anita Sarkeesian faced when she came up with the video series, Nate Talks to You is another channel that did a good criticism of Anita Sarkeesian, so you can watch that. Hey, quit changing my text emojis to images. Alright, everyone, head out. Have a good day, have a good evening, and subscribe, like, share, Alrighty, bye, cheers.